Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's 2-minute fishing report. Well, folks, just like the weather and the inconsistent nature that it has been this past week, the fishing bite has really been inconsistent around the area as well. But guys that have been putting in the time and working for it have come away with some pretty good results. The Missouri River continues to produce fish out there. Again, guys pulling plugs, they're using jigs and minnows, jigs and live bait. Have been working well. The bite from shore has just been dependent on the day. A lot of guys throwing floating wraps along the riprap and coming away with success, especially late afternoon and evening hours, mainly during the evening. But other than that, it's been probably one of the best locations for a consistent bite out there. And then as far as the lakes in the eastern part of the state, up in the northeast, lakes like Waubay, Bitter, Indian Springs, Blue Dog, Kempeska, all have been producing some nice walleyes up there, especially wading out, throwing jigs and minnows, or also throwing X-Raps. Rapala X-Raps have been producing some nice results. And then down the southeastern part of the state, lakes like Ponset, Thompson, East Oakwood, Madison and Henry, as well as 81 Ponds, producing some really nice walleyes this past week. Ponset, you have to sort quite a bit. Other lakes include Goldsmith, Brant, Island, and there was a 32-inch walleye that was caught out of North Island this past week from the boat, and then Vermilion and Sinai. In those two lakes, especially late afternoon and evening, the bite seems to get a little bit better wading out. What have guys been using? A lot of jigs and live bait, jigs and leeches, jigs and minnows have been doing quite well. Other than that, jigs and plastics, such as jigs and the Moxie minnows from Authentics, from Beef Fishing. Then also jigs and walleye assassins have worked really well. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the Rapala X-Raps, guys are casting that from shore and then also into the shallows from boat and coming away with some really nice fish. In this week's version of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about an old jig that we've used and talked about the past year and a half, and that is the Shiny Hiney. Yes, it's coming back, folks. If you haven't heard, the crappies are taking off at Ponset as well as Thompson, and a lot of guys are using the Shiny Hiney. And the reason why we're talking about it is because there is a number of new colors this year, as well as 2 new sizes. So not only are we selling the Shiny Hiney, but we're selling the Tiny Hiney and the Big Hiney. So Dakota Angler is the home of your tiny, shiny, big hiney. How often can you say that? And I bet you can't say that with a straight face either. But honestly, folks, the way you use these things, and I've caught walleye, crappie, bluegill, perch, you name it, off these jigs, and all I'm doing is casting them out from my boat and just letting the jig slowly fall. With the light weight of the jig, it makes it really easy to let it fall, but then the key is to retrieve it very slowly, because otherwise it will pop up in the water column. So again, I think that's where the big hiney is going to come in really great this year, because you can retrieve it a little bit faster than you would your shiny hiney. So again, if you have never used it before, stop on by. We can show you really what the key is on using these types of jigs. And then also, again, I always start without bait, but then if I'm not getting any bites, I'm going to tip it with a minnow. And again, retrieve it the same way. So remember, we're your home. Dakota Angler is your home for the tiny, shiny, big hiney. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 605-336-9132. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-minute fishing report, please send it to me. Send it to todd@dakotaangler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. Well, folks, before we end this week's report, I want to bring your attention to a couple of things. First off, as you can see behind me, we have plenty of bass tackle. That's one thing a lot of people have been asking us for, and that's what we've really responded to. We have a large selection of largemouth as well as smallmouth bass tackle. If you don't see what you're looking for, feel free to ask. We'll order it in for you at no additional charge to you, but all you have to do is just ask. Also, folks, I want to bring your attention to our social media feed. We have a number of different accounts that you can stay in touch with us throughout the entire year. Obviously, a lot of you follow us on Facebook, but we also have a Twitter account as well as an Instagram account. Those are two different ways that you can stay in touch with us, and all you have to do is search for Dakota Angler and you'll find us, and that's a great way to stay up to date throughout the entire year. We also have a new Facebook page for the Ice Institute, and that's at Dakota Angler Ice Institute. That's another great way to stay up with the great ice fishing show that we have in November called the Ice Institute. Or feel free to give us a call. That number is 605-336-9132. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on. We'll see you next week. And again, thanks for watching.